Hello, everybody, one and all, and welcome again to Ladies' Night here on Unpopular Review for the NXT show. I am Sabrina Stella, the wrestling doll, the unofficial camera woman, the one of many names, joined once again.
Yay! Hello, it's Cactus Katie, and I am
By
super.
the one and only Miss Cactus Katie. Tell the lovely people how you are doing in.
Hi, I'm doing great. I'm here for my second show of the night, team tagging it, and
Seems like there might be some technical difficulties over on her side, or something's going on. I'm not too entirely sure, but I'm sure she's going to say that NXT was a solid show tonight, in the words of our first watcher, as always, and George Lewis. A lovely shout out to you. And all I will say is tonight was quite exciting. A lot of fun excitement happening. So we definitely have much to talk about, and I know my usual co-host isn't here. That's why the intro wasn't the same. Real very briefly on my end as well. That Katie should be coming back in real soon. But we definitely have a lot to talk about tonight. So tonight's show definitely didn't hold back in the beginning at all, especially with considering what happened to the Rascalz on TNA not that long ago in the form of Charlie Dempsey and Miles Bourne and Tavon Heights of the No Quarter Catch crew. Still easily stupidest name ever. Oh, she's back.
hi. Sorry. As I said, we're having
Listen,
really
we
bad.
both had a little brief thing. We both froze for a brief second. So hopefully that doesn't happen again. But I was just starting to discuss tonight's show in regards to the starting match, which held nothing back. I mean, we had the Rascalz going in, getting ready for a fight with, like I said earlier, they had a little dealing in the No Quarter Catch crew with Charlie Dempsey, Miles Bourne, and Tavon Heights messing with them and stealing a win from those two. So they definitely had a lot of pent up frustration. And so they got to take that out on Gallus. And they destroyed them. They worked excellently, which it had been 4 years since they last worked together as a team,
Wow.
and 2 years since Zachary Wentz, formerly known as Nash Carter, was on TV. And he did put this up online, so I will read this up real quickly. He said,
All
This
right.
is it. 4 years since the Rascalz last teamed. Over 2 years since I last wrestled on NXT. Tonight means everything to me. Tune in at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on USA Network and watch why we are one of the best trios teams in the world.
Good for him.
Listen,
But
after what he had been through with his ex-wife and the stuff that she had put out, causing his career to end on NXT, only to get a resurgence on TNA and now being up on top as being relevant, and her being on Impact slowly but surely disappeared.
Who was he
So I'm
married
not
to?
sure what she was trying to accomplish and bringing up old history, but now unfortunately she's history from TNA.
Who was he married
But
to?
regardless of that, what did you think of the match that happened between them three?
Who was he married to?
He was with Kimberly. That was her name, as far as like in the ring.
Gotcha. Okay.
Exactly. I didn't even know who she was. So
Yeah. Well, hi George. How are you? Have you gone
it's always
over?
good. Always the first one to show up and wait for us here, which we always appreciate. Even if some of the people here make fun of him, which I will never do, and we know you'll never do to him either. So he knows he's in a safe spot here.
Yes, George. Yes, NXT was also solid tonight. Yeah.
We have good Chris, as Ron here likes to call him.
Yes. Yep. Yes, I was frozen. I had lost power for a brief second, but I am back. So. But yes, no, that was an exciting match. Clearly, you could see there was a lot of tension fusing to the top like a volcano had finally hit its peak and erupted all over that mat. But I was glad to see that Rascalz won, and it was a great match.
Yeah. And they were not completely alone. Say his name, and he will appear. For Joe Hendry joined us on commentary, and he was definitely very entertaining. And speaking of people who are entertaining when they make an appearance on the show, hi Jeffrey.
Yes. But yeah, no, there was a segment I think it was later in the show, but they talked about how he was from Scotland and he's no Drew McIntyre, and they were just shading on him. I was like, come on, guys. Low blows.
Well, I mean, wrestling is full of it, whether you want to see it or not. But
right.
Hey, what can we do? We did have a clap of approval from their win by Joe Hendry. He did say that maybe if Gallus believed, they would have won. And then he did commentate over some highlights from last week, including his tag match with Trick Williams. And he also did mock how Ethan Page literally fell on his championship at Heatwave, which technically he got kicked onto his championship when at Heatwave. So that's an itty bitty nitpick.
That's different ways to look at it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Wow.
Getting kicked in the face and falling onto victory. Someone like EC will say lucky chance or something like that. Because as we all know, if you're a heel wrestler and if the person that likes you, his name is Christopher Harris, you do absolutely nothing wrong in the eyes of him because he wears rose-colored glasses that say "Hey ho, hey ho."
Anyways, he does wear glasses. He does wear glasses on his shows, so who knows what's on the other side.
And they're apparently a hint of rose-colored tint behind that black tint. But we did have Kelly Kincaid interviewing Chase U, and she did mention Roxanne Perez, and Thea Hale went running off, I guess, trying to go find her. And then Riley Osborne and Andre talk up Duke Hudson ahead of the title match. And as Roxanne is walking towards the ring, Thea Hale is rushing up behind her, but she gets pulled back by Ridge Holland. And I'm just like, if you want to fight her for that belt and you want to challenge her, chasing her down is not always going to be the way to go, especially with that girl.
Yes. And then I also want to make an announcement. Per our EC, the executive consultant wants to publicly condemn the behavior demonstrated on tonight's TNX. We demonstrated a product that is not disrespectful towards its constituents and fans. Jerrica Jackson is
Jackson. Nobody has said anything about her.
Is mine and no one else.
Talking negatively about that woman on Will you please relax about her? No one is talking negative. The only thing that happened that you're not pleased with, and I know because you are watching, is the fact that when Ashanti and Cedric were getting talked to, Ashanti got distracted by them two walking by, and he starts flirting with Jakara and let Lash Legend saying, "Don't you talk to me like that. I'm not interested." When he says, "No, I'm talking to her," when referring to Miss Jackson. So, AC, you need to relax. No one was talking bad. Jakara got some attention by somebody. She didn't get looked over. So you can relax. Please.
Yes. I think that's what we were talking about before the show started. That's what yeah.
Yes, we did. And all I know is if he pops up on here, he's going to drool about her becoming the next future Mrs. X Harris for half an hour with her picture flat in the middle, and we won't be seen because it'll be blocking our faces.
Oh, we can't have that.
And no, we cannot.
Oh my god, that was hilarious.
But besides all that rude interruption.
Yeah. That was awesome. Great little moment there. But back to the show.
Yeah, the great little moment that happened later in the show that we were going to talk about, but since EC wanted to have Cactus Katie here make that announcement, I had to bring it up now because otherwise
wrong.
didn't bring up Jakara. But
yes,
before we had Roxanne come up on TV once again.
Yes.
I'm sorry, what were you saying?
I was just saying Roxanne. Was it coming up?
Oh no, I was about to say that Ethan Page and Oro Mensah were in Ava's office arguing, which led to an impromptu match for Ethan Page facing one Mr. Nate Chen, who had a decent push, but I don't know what happened to him after his wins against Lexus King. I don't know what is happening. Hi. Listen, if Jakara Jackson is brought up on the NXT products, he will come up on TV whether we like it, on their show, whether we like it or not.
Of course.
Listen, if somebody shoots their shot on a wrestler that I find attractive on TV, I'm not going to make a scene about it and moan and groan and whine and bitch about it like a baby.
Right.
I'm like, good for y'all. Go ahead. Shoot your shot. Because I'm not going to try to hold nobody back.
Because worst case scenario, someone says no. Yeah.
Exactly. If Jakara's not interested, she can say no to the man. She has a voice. She can speak. She speaks her mind in person and on the internet.
Yep. Well, unless you don't want to be.
Listen, Ashanti the Adonis is not a bad looking guy, but I wouldn't call him an Adonis because he's not my personal type. Personally, I don't look at men of their color like that too much. It's not my personal taste, but Cedric is an attractive man. Anyways, Roxanne asked, what will it take for people to take her seriously as the champion? She's mad that Lola, that she beat, got a standing ovation after the title match. And she adds that she's only 22, hasn't even hit her prime yet. She's not competing with the locker room, but against history, name-dropping Charlotte Flair, who started in NXT 10 years ago, and that she's going to break everybody's records.
I mean, Roxanne's on her way.
She's also mad that everyone thinks that. Yeah. She's also mad that everyone thinks both Julie and Stephanie Vecker will run through the NXT division before welcoming anyone from around the world to come and challenge her. And then she also mocks Thea's chances of beating her. And Thea Hale said that she used to look up to Roxanne, but that Roxanne knows what it's like to be underestimated because before she turned before she turned heel, everybody underestimated him. I mean her.
Her, yeah. I got what you meant. No, Roxanne, she's moving up fast. It's gonna be. I think it is what it is. Bailey, yes, was the greatest NXT champion ever. She's still currently the champion.
He's saying greatest NXT women's champion. She was a good champion. Sorry. I would say in my top 5. My number 1 will still be Asuka because she is the only one that was there that never had to lose the title to someone else, but vacated it over to her then greatest opponent ever in Ember Moon, now known as Athena, who is kicking ass on Ring of Honor.
You know what?
Hey, faking an injury like nobody's business.
Hey, you never know anymore who's actually having true injuries, or are they just going to sit out for 3 months
Exactly.
and wait for their time to make their pop? Yep. We're seeing that right now with Ripley. We saw that with Dr. DMD, Britt Baker, on AEW. There's nothing wrong with sitting out for a minute. There's nothing wrong with that. Nope. So, I thought Sammy was going to sit out for a little while, but he's still running strong. So we'll see. But
we will see indeed.
Roxanne did, though, interrupt Chase U in the hall. And
oh yeah, she did. She put up Thea for being brave for coming out without her chaperones of Chase U. She says that Thea isn't ready and that the title is for big girls, not children. Roxanne calls her a little girl, and she figures that Thea Hill's going to charge her by kicking her in the gut. And then they just go back and forth with submissions, essentially, until Ridge Holland pulls Thea off of Roxanne.
Yes, that was a full fight right away. So
Shayna Baszler did have a great title run. Both her title reigns were good. I will respect that. Ember Moon, yes, I will agree on. Mandy, I respect it now, because before I hated it. You know why I respect it? Because Tiffany sucked as champion.
She's still kind of sucking over on the other side.
If someone has to tap out every single time and the ref doesn't see you or is always distracted every single time, and you just get lucky by them not paying attention to you and you just use whatever you can to keep your belts, I get bored and annoyed.
That's a bad story writing. I mean, as we talked about this on the
story writing's why if Tiffany cashes in and fails, people are going to be pissed off about it, and I don't want to hear it. Listen, if we do this show and Tiffany makes a cash in at SummerSlam and fails, I don't want to hear none of y'all complaining of, oh my God, Tiffany's the first failed cash in as a woman. Why would they do this? Blah, blah, blah. I don't want to hear it.
Well,
I don't want to hear it.
I'm surprised. I mean, I think the runner-up was the Canadian girl,
Chelsea Green. I wanted her to be it because here's the thing: there's something similar.
She hurt her neck or something, right?
Funny. Tiffany's just annoying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, Tiffany. Tiffany time is a little much.
You know what Chelsea could have done? She could have had a Money in the Bank briefcase, multiple different ones in different colors to have it match with her outfit.
She would have.
That would have been funny.
Hence the name.
Like those dress games.
Oh my gosh. These comments are just flying tonight.
Well, when we have a lot to say and they can't come on the air to say it, they will say it right then and there.
You know why they can't come on the air? Because
it's ladies' night.
Ladies' night. That's right, guys. You guys can stay in the comments all you want. I will make sure they're up there. Your voices will be heard. But this is ladies' night, and we're talking about Roxanne here. Okay?
So basically, Thea Hale will be challenging Roxanne Perez at Great American Bash in 2 weeks.
So does that...
And whatever happens, it's going to be a good match.
Does that line up almost exactly the same time as SummerSlam, or is it the week before? SummerSlam is August 3rd.
Yes.
Is the American Bash the 3rd as well, or the 4th?
Let me see.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, these men love to go crazy.
That's all right.
Oh, it's going to be on August 6th. So it's going to be a few days after.
Okay. Yeah, so 3rd, 4th is a Tuesday night, which would make sense. So it's not
interfering with anything else.
Yes.
But anyways, after all that lovely fun we had with Roxanne and Thea.
Yes.
We have Lola Vice being interviewed backstage. She says that despite losing, she belongs in the main event. And she says that she'll be ready next time. We have Fallon Henley, JC Jane, and Jasmine Nix walking over to her, mocking her, telling her to go to the back of the line. So
Henley
basically, we had a fully
Henley made
confirmed
herself.
Lola Vice face turn.
Yeah,
And
no.
Fallon Henley's going to beat the ever-living crap out of her because she said last week she hates rookies, which is funny because she's working with a rookie, and her name is Jasmine Nix. A little hypocritical there, don't you think? Or is she the only exception because she works with JC is my question.
That's her baby. That's, I
mean, careful there, Ron. Careful with that comment, Jeffrey. Ron's going to kill you for saying that she never looked better unless you're implying with the face mask.
Oh, this one.
If you mean for another reason, he will be happy.
I like how Mr. Grand Poobah is in the comments. He's supposed to be sleeping.
If he can't make it, and if JCJ was on the show, he will talk about it. Just like if the Cara Jackson is on the show and the executive consultant is either working or supposed to be sleeping, he too will pop up on the show.
These comments are just wild.
Listen, you know what's funny? There is an indie wrestler who I have met and seen at shows personally, who has been in the business for almost 2 years now. And around the first few months, he had considered himself a veteran, even though he was only in the game for not even a full year yet.
Wow.
But this is one of those few exceptions because he actually did do a lot in his career. He has worked on WWE. He's wrestled in many states here in the U.S. He's wrestled in Costa Rica and Puerto Rico. He's wrestled in the U.K. I want to say he's going to go again for a second time sometime soon. He's going to wrestle in Thailand next weekend. So you could do a lot as a rookie. So Absolutely. She shouldn't say that. Rookies suck. So
no, she'll give her a run for her money. That's for sure. Yeah.
And I'm going to say his name here because I feel like if I don't, somebody's going to find out and tell him. Shout out to August Artois, even though I can't stand his character because he's annoying. But he's cool outside the ring. I will say that.
Yep. See, there you go.
But anyways.
Should be asleep. Both of you should be asleep. Oh my god.
So we had Devon Evans and Brooks Jensen having a match because Brooks Jensen is so trying to make an impact, as he said last week, by beating the ever-living crap out of Devon Evans backstage with Josh Briggs pulling him back, being like, what are you doing? This is not what you should be doing to make an impact. I mean, you can't make an impact by beating the ever-living crap out of people. Then you're no better than Gallus.
I mean, Gallus is
so they have a little match. They have a little thing. They have their back and forth match, which is fine. And we get Sean Spears coming down to the ring with Briggs walking over to confront him. And Jensen cuts him off and tells him not to worry, which results in him losing with him getting hit with the splash of the ropes and a springboard cutter for the win. So now we see who's going to be under Sean Spears' tutelage next.
Well, and then later in the show, should we mention that now or should we just get to that at the end? What happens?
I mean, normally we do it all in order, but if it works with what we're talking about right now, then why not?
Yeah, so they at the closing scene of tonight's show, you saw these guys walking out together. They are talking about how they caused each other the fall, and he is not going to accept his apology, and he wants to have a match. And who was it?
No disqualification, so that way he can do whatever he wants and not get in trouble.
Exactly. And
there's just one rule, Brooks Jensen. You cannot break that kid to the point where he can't wrestle anymore, because if I see that you do that, I will come down there to the Performance Center and I will kick your butt.
Yeah, no, seriously, we can't. We have to be able to keep making money, people. Speaking of that, if you guys would, like our content, like our shows on here, like and subscribe.
Subscribe, press the
Yeah,
notification bell so you don't miss a video when we put anything out. And I'm just
Yeah.
going to say this: the executive consultant is acting just like Jeffrey regards, not Jeffrey, into like George in regards. He changed his mind about Lola, and now this one all of a sudden magically changed his mind about Liv Morgan, because once upon a time when she wasn't trying to kiss Dominic Mysterio all over, he couldn't stand her and would badmouth her every chance he got for years. And now all of a sudden that she's going after the most gorgeous man in WWE right now, now all of a sudden he magically likes her. If someone can please, in unpopular review, maybe Dice even, if you can find clips in videos of when he badmouthed Liv Morgan and make a compilation video and put it up on the YouTube channel here, so we can say, EC magically changed his mind about Liv Morgan, but here's all the times he insulted her for like 20 minutes. Please do
that
so.
would be a good commercial. I think somebody can work on that for a commercial.
If Roman Reigns comes back on TV and I start saying, thank goodness Roman Reigns is back, that will not mean, oh, I like him. No, it just means I want him to take down the new bloodline. No, you haven't. Stop lying. No, you haven't. You've never been a fan. Should I have Shay Story come up here and have her mention the conversation that you had with her before about how she said Liv Morgan would be a champion and you said no chance in hell, basically quoting Vince McMahon?
Oh my goodness.
Listen, the day that he fully admits that he's never been a fan of Liv Morgan is the day when he admits that he's a fan of Rhea Ripley. And he'll never admit that because she called him a peasant several times. And I still love telling that story. But anyways, now back to everything.
She's busy. She's busy.
Yeah, she's busy getting ready to beat up Liv Morgan at SummerSlam and beat up Dominic Mysterio for supposedly doing stuff with her. He never technically did. Which I will say, he never did anything with her. I'm not going to say that he did, because I saw with my own eyes. I'm not going to badmouth the boy.
Don't ever forgive.
And supposedly Liv Morgan fell in love with Dominic Mysterio. First of all, I call bullshit on that. I'm going to call bullshit. All we know is Dominic will probably eventually turn his back onto Rhea Ripley if they're doing the Eddie Guerrero Liv and China story. Everybody remember how that ended? Exactly.
Bye-bye.
But anyways, she will end the Liv Morgan Revenge tour, just not at SummerSlam is what I'm going to say. Anyways, after all that fun stuff, after the match happens, Jensen attacks Javon. And Briggs pulls him off and yells at him because he stuck his neck out for him. He said it again. Which at this point, I'm just like, Josh, I don't think Brooks Jensen wants your help anymore. I think he wants Sean Spears' help to hone in and make an impact. Meanwhile, we have the D'Angelo family playing cards with Charlie Dempsey wanting to talk to the Don, and he tells Tony D that he took care of the problem. And Tony D jokes that Miles Warren has to shut up. Which
the whole scene was
Miles doesn't really talk that much. And then Charlie says he's still coming for the Heritage Cup and wants advice, and says that he saw a witness, saw them take care of Damon Kemp. Their witness being Wren Sinclair.
Yes.
Which, funny enough, a little later in the show, she did come up to them and is basically blackmailing into being in the No Quarter Catch crew, which means we're going to have a heel turn. Which I will say this. Ever since she got on the show, I've been hyping her up because I love her heel work. I've seen it in AEW. I've seen it in indie wrestling show videos that I found online. I've seen her work on NWA. I love her as a heel. She is so good at making you hate her. I can't wait for the world to see the skills that she has as a heel character in Wren Sinclair before when she wrestled on TV as Maddie Rinkowski. If anybody remembers from NWA M95, that was her and her tag partner, Missa Kate, wrestling at the time.
Chris
So then
Harris.
after that, oh,
Well,
George,
after
if
that-
you would like to find her work online as Maddie Renkowski and find her heel work, which is a lot of her old wrestling matches, you will not be disappointed.
Gosh.
It's like Cora Jade as a heel now. Very good work. Actually, better than Cora.
You see a lot of that in AEW right now. There are some serious heels coming out, and I think
Like
it's all in
Miranda
prep
when she
for.
does Tony's face.
Yeah, it's all in prep for Guts and Glory or whatever is coming out, and it's a little much.
Yep. So speaking of much, we have Trick Williams having a loud conversation with Ilya Dragunov on the phone. Basically, kind of like how reality TV shows have those conversations with the phones on speakerphone so that we can hear both sides of the conversation.
Right.
And who do we have behind him but Pete Dunne?
Yep.
After his recent heel turn by attacking Sheamus after his match with Big Bronson Reed. So then after that, we get a 5-minute squash match in Ethan Page versus Dante Chen, which it was a squash match. We know what's going to happen. And after the match is over, Ethan Page celebrates and is blindsided by Oro Mensah again. And then they fight him off before dropping. He fights him off before dropping on the mat. He walks off. Oro attacks him again and returns to the ring with him hitting a spinning kick on Ethan Page before doing a.
Yeah, but and it didn't even count for anything. It literally.
Oh no, it didn't count for anything. He just wanted that satisfaction.
Right, the saying, "I can do this." So good for him.
Exactly.
Now, get Ava to sign you onto a card.
But he was staring because he was talking to Dragunov.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Tyler Bate is technically still out right now. So I think he's just doing his own thing. And if Tyler Bate comes back and turns heel with them, so be it. If not, they might just leave them be and have them do their own separate thing.
More than likely, I think that's how that's going.
So
they'll swing back around.
I think that's better for them.
Yeah, they'll swing back around, I'm sure. So,
exactly.
Yeah, so there was a lot of mentoring during this show. Like you said, you saw Trick Williams and Dragunov and Pete asking for advice and how to move forward after losing the NXT championship. So that was kind of interesting. It wasn't the normal you see from that, but it was pretty good, pretty interesting.
And speaking of things that aren't interesting, we had Gallus in the back whining about their loss afterwards, with Joe Coffey being mad at Joe Hendry, and he said his name and he appeared. And Hendry says that he gets that Gallus is angry because they've been there for years and nobody cares. And he's right, because nobody cares. I always say it. Watching Gallus talking is like watching paint dry. I'd rather watch that because that's more exciting. Watch them in the ring, I get bored.
Tell us how you.
And then he says that Joe Hendry shows up, and he's the most talked about thing in NXT right now, which is true. Because I love seeing the compilation video that the Geek Box made on YouTube. Shout out to that channel. Puts up reactions of the people, of streamers that watch, and he gets the reaction when Joe Hendry debuted and when he came back for that match with Trick Williams, which is always very fun to watch.
Well, I mean,
and then after that, we get an entertaining character in Tatum Paxley versus a boring person who went over to TNA to try to get the Knockouts Championship in Izzy Dame, which I'm just going to say this real quickly. Some people are kind of talking how wow, TNA is sending over talent over there that actually have personality and are relevant over there. Meanwhile, NXT is just sending over random people to basically feed to Jordan Grace. No, they're just letting people that aren't on TV all the time, or it's just them that can show what Jordan Grace can do. That's just it. They can't always send their top talent over there. They need them for the storylines on NXT. Anyways,
NXT's
the match was fine. Izzy
NXT is its own brand.
Izzy calls Tatum practically a freak, stretches her around the ring post. They go there back and forth, but Tatum Paxley does hit her with a reverse spinning slam for the win and pins her onto the ground. And Wendy Chu is there, and she's holding up the Barbie doll from last week as Tatum Paxley puts the head back on it.
It's very
she cracks a little smile.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no.
All I can say is I think this pairing will be very interesting.
Yeah, especially for the American Bash.
I mean,
I
it's
don't
like
know the weight, but yeah. Well, I mean, it was interesting. That doll was brought up a few times tonight.
Well, I mean, there is a reason why Tatum Paxley was going after Izzy, because Izzy reminds Tatum Paxley of the girls that used to make fun of her as a kid.
Well, sorry to tell you.
And when you see a living embodiment of the people that made fun of you, one of two things pops up in your head. Not a big deal anymore. I got over it. Or I never got over it and I want to beat them up, but I can't, so I'll do the next best thing, which is beat up someone that reminds me exactly like them and does the same thing to me now, so why not? And I get paid for it, so why not even more?
Here you go. Oh, man. Well, why don't we throw a commercial break up here real quick? Do you have one in mind, or do you...
Of course.
Say it again?
I mean, I don't have any particular commercial lines to play, but if you like to pick one to play, so be it. You are watching Unpopular Review.
Previously on the Mike Knox Show.
No, we have a new World Heavyweight Champion. Y'all can play Drew McIntyre's music all you want. That's not changing anything. Over, you screw me like this? That was a clear 3. You lost to a Falcon Arrow.
You know what I'm saying? I got 4 kids, okay? I can't do that anymore. But I have a soft spot for Jonathan Harvey right there because he saw us. He remembered us, my man. Why I said, yo, you remember us? He shows him the shirt. We put him on a shirt from being on SmackDown. He goes, yo, I remember you brothers. Y'all want to be on TV and always say, right place, right time. White rapper, 2 black people.
With previous guys. I like this. I like the idea of this whole farewell tour. I like the way Danielson did it. You give the higher ups a year to work you in. And also, man, it's a good, I don't want to call it a PR stunt, but I think it's a good way to send a Mount Rushmore guy out.
Yeah, we got grown-ass people bitching and complaining and bitching because he didn't roll the shoulder or take it out. Okay? Guess what? I guarantee you, 90% of the shit they do, that's wrong. I'm sorry. I do the whole critical. 97% of the shit they do, you can't. So, let's just hold off with the boxing because it's a sport. Okay? It's a sport.
Hold on here. Is this the barbershop? Is this the barbershop? It's the barbershop. Yeah, I mean, we can't talk straight in the barbershop. Then where can we talk straight? We can't talk straight nowhere else. You know, this ain't nothing but healthy conversation.
And you're back with watching Unpopular Reviews, NXT Tuesday, NXT review show with Sabrina Stella and Cactus Katie.
Yes.
And yes, she was eyeing the belt, but they also did pull out a doll that looked like Kaylani, so we know their next target.
Ooh.
Which, of course, she's the inaugural women's tag team the inaugural women's North American champion, so yes.
A spooky show. Sure. Well, we threw the commercial.
We'll probably do a voting thing one day or something where people suggest names, so we'll just see how that goes.
Right? That could be a top 5 unpopular review, guys. But we wanted to do the commercial right before we talk about the Lola Vice match. So...
Yes, before we talk about the match that unfortunately made my usual co-host, the great-grandson Poopa, upset because unfortunately his number 1 girl did not win. Lola Vice won after having her official face turn, so to speak, after facing Roxanne Perez. And Match was good. Lola showed what she can do. JC showed what she can do as well. Lola got the win, but Fallon and Jasmine, as well as JC, do attack her after the match is over. And Carmen and Lola come out to make the save and help her. And backstage, Tatum's admiring her doll that and Kaylani walks over and tries to sound. Actually, no, sorry. Tatum asks her if she wants to play, but Kaylani says that they're too old to be playing with dolls.
I mean,
acquired.
It's props. Yes. But Bad Guy Jack is having a very hard time with our conversation.
And you have to be very. Listen, Kaylani, if there's one thing I've learned from going to conventions, from hanging out with people that like that kind of thing, or going to wrestling shows and sitting with people that sometimes talk about things that you don't want to hear while you're watching a wrestling match. Rule number 1, don't encourage the crazy. And by telling her that we're too old to be playing with dolls, you encourage the crazy to go after you.
I was going to say, she's going to take out the voodoo doll.
Speaking of going after her, basically, we're going to get that. But speaking of going after somebody, I'm going to talk about it again nicely because he didn't get to talk about it nice because someone made me upset. So Cedric Alexander and Ashanti the Adonis are talking backstage, excited about their new opportunities in NXT, which it's nice to see Ashanti the Adonis come back because when he was in Hit Row, he was the one that didn't have my attention at all. For me, Swerve got my attention first, then Top Dollar, shout out to AJ Francis, and then B-Fab, which, sure, she's a nice person outside the ring, but in that ring, I got bored. And Ashanti the Adonis, I felt like he was just there. So I think maybe now he can get some more attention on him, and Cedric can get more eyes on him because when he was put up on the main roster, he was doing fine on main event and the 205 Live when they still had it, but after the pandemic hit and they kind of went their separate ways and went downhill from there. So we'll see that they'll do better down here. So then as Jakara and Lash are walking by with Oro, Ashanti goes up to flirt. Lash Legend's like, nuh-uh, I ain't interested in you, sweetie. Step away from me. Almost like, I just left someone I was interested in. I don't want you to talk to me now. But he was interested in Jakara, and both Lash and Oro were not having because they were like, oh, wait, not this. Well, Oro was saying, oh, wait, nothing like this again. See, I was done with it. Now we can move on. So yeah, you and the executive consultant be happy, Jeffrey, because I know you two are married to her in you're married to her in your mind, and the executive consultant's already signing the divorce papers from her in his mind. But let somebody try to shoot their shot. The worst that can happen is she could have said no, but she was liking the attention. So
I mean, who doesn't like the attention? You know, as long as you get the last word, that's all that matters.
Exactly. So then we had the OC against Out the Mud yet again.
Yep.
In a mixed tag match, which match was good. It did what it needed to do. It kept pushing the feud, with this time the OC getting the win, with Anderson and Gallus hitting a Magic Killer onto Bronco Numa for the win.
Yep, and this is setting it up for the 6-person.
Thea Parker a client, Jeffrey? What do you mean by client? You know how inappropriate that sounds? That sounds like you're her pimp or something. I'm sorry, Jeffrey. That doesn't sound good. If you got another
Jeffrey, you just got called out
to be
on ladies' night.
Big say it like that. You know how many wrestling husbands I have in my head? A few, but I'm not going to say them tonight because I'm not giving y'all any ammo right now.
Right, no ammo. It's girls'
night.
But
match was fun. It did what it needed to do, so I didn't mind it. What did you think? What up, Lewis?
Yeah, no, it was a a setup for the 6-person match at American Bash. But I mean, it was kind of given what was going to happen. So I wasn't
Yeah, well, I
surprised.
mean,
So,
Ultimate got the win last time, so it don't make sense that OC gets the win this time.
yep. And they will just keep going back and forth.
Nothing else you can do about that.
No, but I am excited for the North American Championship match. That was an awesome match between Duke and Oba.
Oba Femi, yes.
Yes. That was very entertaining, very great wrestling. It was I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was very good. So,
Yes, it was a very entertaining match. I did enjoy that. I mean, it kind of reminded me a little bit of when I first watched Duke Hudson in the breakout tournament a few years back when I was still watching the black and gold brand that NXT was, which that tournament that year in 2021 made me a fan of him, of Cameron Grimes, of Ikemen, of Carmelo Hayes, Odyssey Jones when he was still drafted into NXT. Plenty of other people there, et cetera, et cetera. I will say this, Duke was definitely one of the few who's given Oba a run for his money for that belt.
yeah, he may be undefeated, but that was a really close 3 count. That was a borderline 3-2 count earlier. They could have gone both ways.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think Duke did great. As the Wrestling Doll and I talked about it earlier, I just think everything was good except for what was her name? She's just too much for me. Thea Hale. Yeah, no.
Thea Hale.
No. You could stay back in the locker room. They don't need you. You are a distraction, and I don't think for the better. But that's my opinion. So, but no, Oba, it was a great, great match. And he's still undefeated.
Yes, he's still undefeated. It is very hard to determine who will be the one to take that belt off of Oba Femi. I will tell you the one person who will not be able to take that belt off of Oba Femi, Dominic Mysterio. Anyway, I want to real quickly discuss it real quickly, the segment before that and then the bit right after, which we did bring up earlier, but
I missed one. I'm sorry.
No, it's all right, but we also did have that. We had a little thing with Eddie Thorpe working at a club, DJing a bit, and Lexis King stopped the music and was saying that he was, end quote, trying to play some good tunes, which basically means they're going to have a match next week. And Ora Mensa and Ashanti the Adonis are going to have a match as well next week. So,
well,
that should be fun.
Yeah,
and then, as we mentioned, the No Quarter Catch crew have their moment with Wren Sinclair. She's trying to get into the group, which is the creative way, basically, of saying we used her up as the doe-eyed new girl. The gimmick is not interesting anymore. We need to do something different with her. We know she's done great heel work. That's why we brought her in. Let's have her try to join the No Quarter Catch crew and make it entertaining. Before we go, we're going to see heel Wren Sinclair. And I can't wait.
Yeah.
She's one of the few wrestlers that I enjoy being a heel.
Well, I mean, Henley, I feel like, has done a pretty good job at being a heel. She was out of her norm, I felt like, as a face.
I think she does good at both.
I mean, yeah. I mean, currently, I guess she's a heel. So, I mean, it works. But
she's working with JCG and one of the biggest female heels right now. So, that says enough.
Exactly.
But we did be celebrating, and then we have.
Go ahead.
Brooks and Josh Briggs leaving arguing. Briggs is trying to reach him with Jensen. He's not getting it. He wants the match to no DQ next time. And then he gets in the passenger side of a mysterious person's van, which is 110% Sean Spears. Whether we've seen his face or not, we already know it's going to be it because he did say before the youngins are impressionable and are trying to get clout.
Wow.
Which is funny because Brooks Jensen was not complaining about Twitter.
Yep.
If Fallon winds up running that group, the Great Grand Slam Pooba will throw a fit. And no, you cannot reason crazy.
Ooh. All right.
Well, I mean, if Charlie Dempsey wants that Heritage Cup back, then naturally a feud is going to happen. And then we will see the great heel work.
I agree with all of these, Chris. That is a great lineup right there. I feel like we're missing.
And I appreciate you putting some respect on Meech and Mia Yim.
Yeah. I mean, what wrestler
She was.
isn't?
She still is. And so is JC, but she has somebody working with her. So sometimes, like they say, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And the enemy of Fallon Henley is everybody in the locker room that's a face. And the enemy of JC Jane in that locker room is everybody that's a face. So it only makes sense. I still call her Mia Yim. I only say Meech because of what they call her on TV, which it's a word in her native language, which is, it means crazy. So.
Only fair. Yeah. Are they best friends? I wonder outside the match.
All the friends you can get.
Right? Isn't that true? Well, we have a lot of previews. We have a lot of previews for upcoming week. They are already starting to make the card for the American Bash on the 6th of August, I think is what we decided.
Yes, 6th of August, which is basically the weekend, the few days after SummerSlam.
Yes.
What up, Dyson? Dyson, will you please make me a compilation video of the executive consultant insulting Liv Morgan throughout the years on Unpopular Review, please? And put it up on social media so we can talk about it.
I was going to say, or make a commercial so we can just, replay it a million times throughout this channel.
That too.
Yes. That'll be interesting. I mean, I love you guys. Yeah, I love y'all's creativity. And
we need like 5 or 6 people for that tag team.
Ooh. Oh, and
that is very established information.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I think a lot of people like both of them. I think they're actually probably pretty chill people outside the ring. How is it over 2 days?
2-parter.
2-parter, a week apart?
Night 1, night 2, basically.
But they're just recording it all, probably, and then just showing it over 2 nights.
Maybe, maybe not. I don't know how Great American Bash works because that's one of the events I didn't go to.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, here we go.
Yay, thank you.
Oh, there you go. We'll see how this works out. But
I can't wait.
All right.
And listen, what I was gonna say is if I make comments, because I know I'm gonna be watching SummerSlam with a bunch of people I know. If Roman Reigns comes back and everybody freaks out, and including me, despite people knowing that I don't like him.
Are you going to SummerSlam?
In Cleveland, Ohio, I am not rich enough.
Are you going to be in
Orlando? People I know.
Are you going to be in Orlando?
Either Orlando or in Tampa. I got invited to go over a friend's house to watch it, and That friend is the wrestler as a bunch of the other people, so that should be fun. But we'll see what happens.
Well, if not, I will be in Orlando at the watch party. So you are more than welcome to come hang out with us in Lake Mary.
I will definitely keep that in mind.
Yes.
But I will say this here on the air for everybody to hear, so the word gets out, or if somebody puts a video up on me on social media, me cheering for Roman Reigns back on TV, and if anybody says, "Oh, but you've never liked Roman Reigns, you bashed on him since day one," I'll just be happy that he's back so we can beat up Solo Sikoa for being stupid on air and having the bloodline look like a joke until Jacob Fatu came into the picture, who is currently overshadowing Solo Sikoa, mind you, to the point where he hasn't even been there that long, and his merch is already the second most sold shirt right now.
Ooh.
After John Cena's Farewell Tour shirt. And you know who's number 4 and 5 in that list? Jey Uso.
Do you not think Roman's coming back?
No, I think Roman's coming back, but if a video gets put up and I'm cheering for it, and if somebody puts it up and somebody says, "Wait a minute, you don't like him, you never liked him," I'm just cheering because I'm happy Solo's going to get his ass beat.
Fair. I'm all about that. So
the executive consultant can't say, "Oh, you're actually acknowledging your tribal chief. You never liked him." I won't be acknowledging him. I'll just be happy he's going back to kick Solo's butt. End of story. So I want to hear from none of y'all who like Roman Reigns. Okay?
Well,
because at least I admit it. I can admit
it's a very different.
Like somebody or not.
Yeah.
I don't go flip floppy like some people.
I thought our AEW show was a lot of smack on people, but really we just keep it to the three of us. But on AEW,
I'm just honest.
I mean, hey, I'm all about being honest, and as women, we have to stand our grounds and represent ourselves well. So you go for it. I am all about this. And if you guys want to see more drama, watch ANE Dynamite tomorrow night between Dan the Man and Venomous Vinny and myself, because that is a firecracker show all the time. Yeah.
Oh, so Dan didn't like the name we gave him last week? He didn't like us calling him Dirty Dan the Man?
I quickly threw that past him, and then he never mentioned it again. So I don't know.
I'm gonna guess that's a no, but that's fine.
I think so. I don't think that's gonna be a fan. Yeah, no. Vinny gets it from both Dan and I. I try to.
Vinny doesn't always make the smartest decisions when it comes to AEW. I mean, he drafted Trent Beretta on his AEW mock draft, for crying out loud. Yeah. He drafted the biggest flip-flopper that the best friends had ever seen. That man has turned on Orange Cassidy 20 million times. And now Orange Cassidy's finally nearly hit him with a wrench last time. I wanted to beat him down to the ground and make him bleed.
Well, come to the watch party.
Can't stand Trent Beretta. And his wrestling is boring to me.
Oh, thank you. Well, Chris, come watch me tomorrow night. Like I said, on the AEW Dynamite show. Lady, do you want to throw our other shows that we have here on the channel up? Oh, yeah.
Of course I do. Oh, absolutely. She's going to be here.
Yeah, no, tomorrow. Yeah, go ahead.
So we have Monday night Mike Knox show for the Tundra Wrestling fan at 6. Monday Night Raw reviews now on Tuesdays before NXT reviews. NXT reviews are right after NXT is on the air. Then you have Dynamite on Wednesday with Vinny, Cactus, Katie, and Dan. And Saturday afternoons, you get your SmackDown review with the Silent and Vic. And then, like I said before, you have the Mike Knox show at 6 for the Intelligent Wrestling fan at 6 o'clock. And then you have Raw now coming on the day after to discuss it with the executive consultant and Freckle Sensei. Then you have myself on NXT with Great Grandson Pooba, or whoever is able to join me when my co-host cannot come on, and vice versa. Well, and then you have this lovely lady coming back tomorrow with her boys. That
It's gonna be a great match because you got MJF
Give her workout.
and Will Ospreay starting the night off. So I am going to go get some rest and be ready for that show tomorrow. So thank you so much for having me this week.
Thank you for being here.
Of course. Anytime. Girls' night is always a blast. So
And we will one day have girls' night with Ron.
With Ron and all our chats. So
Yes.
all right. Good night, everybody. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you guys soon.
Bye-bye.